I know Netflix has kind of taken a little bit of a dive since all the other programming channels have come out with their own streaming services.
And they have created some stinkers for original movies.
Some stinkers too. That's true. That's true. But every once in a while, they hit a banger.
Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Becca. And we're talking about movies like we know stuff.
All right, everyone. So we watched K-pop Demon Hunters to the suggestion of many, many, many friends and acquaintances in our lives. Never would have thought that this was something that we would be watching.
Now that we've seen it, I understand.
Do you?
Why so many people recommend it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
yeah, not something that was ever on my radar. And I don't mind stuff like this, but it just didn't get advertised very well. Or at least to me, it didn't get advertised very well. And so I wasn't really aware of it coming out or what it was about.
Not at all. And as soon as I saw the art style in the first few frames of the movie, I thought, this looks like one of the very dumb Netflix movies that my brother's children used to make us watch when they would sleep over.
Oh, yeah? Like, what kind of movies were those?
So inconsequential that I can't think of any names or plots.
Okay.
But they were just bad. They were bad Netflix movies, not Klaus.
Yeah, okay.
And
Understood.
just the appearance, at least my initial reaction was, oh, this doesn't look very good.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Well, let's just say that we're going to start off here by doing a spoiler-free review, in case you haven't seen it yet or you don't want any spoilers. And then we'll let you know, and we'll transition into spoilers for the details of it.
Okay, so quick recap of the plot. K-pop Demon Hunters is story essentially centers around these 3 girls that make up a K-pop band, and they are musicians / superheroes pretty much. They fight demons to protect, what did I keep forgetting it was called? The Hanmoon?
The Hanmoon, yes.
Which is the barrier between the human world and the demon world, and the Hanmoon has to be secure or demons can come in and basically, wreak havoc.
Yeah, they secure it with their, singing ability, basically.
And in the lore of this world, ever since the beginning of time, there's always been this trio of musicians / superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot of this movie takes us to the current, trio of musicians, and the current, genre music of the time is K-pop. So they are K-pop singers / demon hunters. And they are trying to seal the Hanmoon for good.
Mm-hmm.
So the demons can never come back.
Never come back. Yep, and dealing with any of the complexities that come with that. And there's some twists and turns that happen throughout the movie.
And something that's interesting is their music career is directly tied to the safety of the human race.
That's true.
Is that essentially the more popular they are, the more chances they get to perform, they get to strengthen that barrier.
Yeah.
Which sounds so silly, but actually works really, really well for the plot.
It did work really well.
In my opinion, is that there's a point
Mm-hmm. Right.
to them being singers, besides the typical kind of kid fantasy of being a superhero / musician / model.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I really enjoyed about this movie is that it's kind of one of those musical movies. So you have...
It is a musical. It's straight up a K-pop musical.
Sure, it's a bunch of music videos, basically,
Yeah.
where they just weave the songs into a large portion of the movie to add rhythm and pace and entertainment to the events that are happening on screen.
I thought the addition of the songs was a lot more seamless than I expected. It should have felt sillier than it did, but it always felt really natural. I never questioned it. I'm like, absolutely, of course they're singing.
Yeah, right.
The songs all just kind of seamlessly grew out of the symphonic background music.
Yeah, the
and
plot
it worked.
the plot also allows for music to be easily woven into the story. In most traditional musicals, the songs you're just kind of a suspension of disbelief that you kind of accept that oh, they're now going to sing about what's going on now.
Dance break.
Yeah, now there's a dance break because that's definitely what town villagers in, what is it, 15th century France or whatever are doing. But with this plot line, because they are both superhero mystics that also are part of a K-pop band, of course they're going to be singing and doing stuff. It feels much more natural that they fit those in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The art style I also was a big fan of. It's definitely got a new age neon type vibe to it where there's a lot of dark colors but with pops of hot pink and bright blue and laser kind of colors, greens and yellows.
So it's a lot actually like Turning Red.
Okay.
Which I didn't show to you because I don't really think it's that good of a Pixar film.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first time I saw a movie blend that Pixar computer animation style with anime.
Yeah.
where they look like Pixar characters, but then they get the big eyes and the tears and the silly emoji faces come out of nowhere, and Turning Red did it first, but this movie did it better.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I liked that they definitely still stuck to the Eastern style animations and included, the chibi looks and, like you said, the big eyes and, the streak lines, the animation lines, and all those kinds of things. So it was a lot of good.
The teardrops.
Classic tropes. Yeah, the teardrops. They had like popcorn eyes at one point in time.
It was absolutely after-school special anime.
For sure.
You think of the ones that first came to the States when we were kids.
Yeah.
Which would be like Sailor Moon and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was very much in that vein. Almost everything about this movie just felt like things that I watched after school.
Right.
When I was 10.
Yeah. I think my only drawback, I think I can say, is that the movie can feel maybe childish a little bit at certain points. And what I would say to that is, like, I would never show this movie to my parents and say, oh, this is something you should definitely watch, because they just wouldn't get it. I think they would appreciate it for what it was, but it just wouldn't click with them like it does for us and apparently many other people of our age and younger.
It's definitely a movie for weebs.
Yeah.
Which we are distinctly in that category.
Yep.
So I'd say it could skew older if said older person is a weeb. If you are, a not Asian person who loves anime and manga and K-pop and J-pop and anything in that realm, this will be for you.
How many weebs do you know that are 50 years or older? Your silence is my point.
Listen, we go to anime conventions every year, and there are people of all ages. So just because we don't personally know does not mean that they are out there, and we will be those people.
Yeah, I was painting in broad strokes, but yes, that's my point still stands.
Okay, either you're a weeb or you have nostalgia for your childhood if you are in our age group.
Sure.
It's one of those two categories.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Or at least it's going to enhance your experience. I honestly think the movie is good. I think it's quite good. It really surprised me, and I think it could stand on its own, nostalgia aside. But I think that people in our category will appreciate it more.
Sure, that makes sense. So wrapping up the spoiler-free section, I would say definitely go check out this movie. I'm so glad that we got so many recommendations and asks to watch this and review it. Shout out to all you guys out there who suggested it. Great watch. If you like this kind of stuff, it's gonna be right up your alley. You're gonna love it.
I agree. Honestly, I was in a terrible mood before I watched this movie. It had nothing to do with it. And this was just delightful.
Cheered you right up.
It cheered me right up. I feel like this movie is the gateway drug to K-pop music, which is a genre now I know I've been sleeping on.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to show you some of the stuff I know. I didn't even think about showing you this category.
Every song was a bop. Not everything about the movie was great, but every song was a bop. And the movie was surprisingly strong, surprisingly deep, that I'm not going to go into now. Save that for spoilers or watch the spoiler section later if you see it. But I would recommend to most people, if you haven't seen this movie, stop listening.
Yeah,
click off and go watch it. Because I'm really glad I went into this knowing very little.
Knowing nothing. I knew nothing about it.
I had a friend just reach out and tell me, hey, this is really good. And she just said great animation and great storytelling and music, and that was it. And that's all I knew.
Yeah.
Was like this vague thumbs up.
That vague thumbs up, yeah.
I would give it a very solid thumbs up.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. So like we said, if you haven't seen this yet, please click away from this review right now, because we're going into spoilers here and we're excited to talk about it.
So excited, actually.
So thank you for watching, and we'll be right back with the spoilers. Anyway, so we're back. All right, hit me with some story and plot thoughts, my dear love.
Let me try to talk about these things in order of importance. So first of all, I mentioned earlier in the discussion that I think it's really clever that they tied the popularity of the musicians to the safety of the world, and how their battle wasn't just a literal battle. They have these 5 demons come to Earth disguised as a boy band. And they're taking away their spot on the charts, and they're coming up with their own K-pop hits that everybody's obsessed with, and they're making videos on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so smart and so fun, and so much more fun than just the general, I'm the big scary demon and we're gonna have the big scary fight, which they did, but that was a much, much more clever approach.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think that I appreciated that this was kind of a traditional movie in the sense that there's kind of the 4 acts. There's the setup, there's the build up, then there's the third act breakup, and then there's the final resolution. And so I appreciate that about this movie. And they're very distinct, but that doesn't mean that this is a very basic and boring movie. I think that the plot still very well holds up and doesn't sell you on, oh, I'm just a cookie cutter movie that, Hollywood slops out every 5 seconds kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it surprised me. The twist surprised me because it doesn't look like a movie that's going to surprise you.
Yeah.
Again, when this started, I'm thinking, oh Lord, this is just a made-for-TV Nickelodeon movie, is it? Which I quickly ended up changing my mind.
Sure.
But the movie was really layered in how it handled good versus evil.
It was, yeah. There was a lot of blending of what was good and what was bad in this movie.
Like, particularly with a couple of things. So number one, the third act breakup was so dark. Like, it was really dark.
Yeah.
Where, giant spoiler, but the main singer of the trio, Rumi, it being revealed that she is a half demon. And her costume is like torn off by the other demons, and you can see all of these like purple patterns all over her body, and her eyes change color, and she doesn't look like a human anymore.
Yeah.
And not just that, but her friends obviously kind of like backing away from her, but then her friends and the whole population like falling prey to all their inner demons as they find themselves like hypnotically walking to this giant arena where, let's say, their version of Satan is.
Sure.
And they're all there being hypnotized by the inner demons in their head.
Sure.
Of those nagging, horrible thoughts we all have, like, I'm not good enough. And it felt so real. And for me, that was an epiphany of like, that was the demon all along.
Yeah.
It's really our fears.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you picked up on that because I picked up on that as well, is that it was slowly revealed to you. Well, first off, I agree that I was in the same boat as you, that the twist where she's a half demon definitely caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that. But then also understanding the whole moral of the entire movie is that we all deal with our own demons and we need to help each other out and lift each other up to fight these demons. So
that's not a unique struggle.
It's not a unique struggle. Everyone has that struggle, and everyone has to work together to win that battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another segment of the third act breakup that I wish that the movie had spent more time on is they didn't spend a lot of time with Rumi and her adopted mother.
Yeah, her adopted mother felt kind of shoo-in.
She didn't have much of a role, that it was just like, oh, this is her adopted mother, and she reminds Rumi and her bandmates that you just need to be strong and not show your weaknesses because you're the protectors of the world, and that was the only thing that she did. But that scene where Rumi goes to talk to her after it's been revealed that she's a demon, her secret is outed, and she says to Celine, why couldn't you love all of me? Ooh, that hurt.
Sure, yeah.
That hurt because I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of us have that fear that if certain people in our lives really knew all of us,
all of our demons,
they wouldn't like us.
Yeah, true. And I think,
or they couldn't look past it.
Yeah, and I think another potential way to look at the overall message of the movie as well is talking about how K-pop and J-pop stars are put on such high pedestals over in those cultures, and that those people have to be essentially perfect.
I mean, you've described it as an assembly line.
Yeah, they have training for the smallest things you could possibly think of over there. How to eat properly, how to behave properly, how to walk properly, how you
just
hold
for
your
these
posture.
stars.
Just for these stars, so that they are literally a model citizen, so that nothing that they do, any of their personality quirks that maybe we have over here in America, you have good singers and good musicians and good actors, but then sometimes they have a little bit of a dark side to them. Over there, they iron all of those out with training and other things like that,
That's
so
so
that
dystopian.
those people are literally models, and so that they don't hurt the sales of their music for the industry. Because you think the label over here in America, the label who promotes the artist, they're kind of at the mercy of the artist a little bit, in the sense that they need to produce, number one, good music, number two, they need to maintain a good public image.
Right.
Whereas, and over there,
They have to hope they don't pull Britney.
exactly. Whereas over there, they iron all that out of there, so that there's almost zero chance that these musicians will, at least on the publicity side, hurt their image. Now, I'm sure they also have hundreds of people who are going to write K-pop and J-pop bops day in and day out, so I'm sure that they don't have to worry about the artists actually coming up with good music, you know? I guess, you know, this might be an unfair way to paint it, and that maybe I'm speaking out of ignorance here a little bit, but I think that American music tends to be a little more real, or at least it feels more real.
Well, it's a lot grittier.
It's definitely a lot grittier, and more real, but I feel like it's more authentic. Whereas over there, it's definitely more mass-produced. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because, like, don't get me wrong, I love me a good K-pop and J-pop bop. But they're just, you have to understand the different perspectives where those industries are coming from.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, the little I know about K-pop/J-pop, if I had to think of words to associate it with, I'd go kawaii, Hello Kitty. Like, those are
So the Avril Lavigne take on Japan.
those are
basically.
the images. Yeah, I think of the cutest, most sanitized parts of, you know, just like Asian pop culture.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. What did you think of the characters? Talking specifically about them.
I, specifically for Jinu, the villain slash love interest of the movie, he was such a stand-in for like Cloud and every video game character or anime character that all the ladies were and are still in love with.
Yeah. Right.
And
That's kind of, he's like their pinnacle of like beauty over there. You know, it's definitely the model you would expect from there, for sure.
he was fine.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, he was there for his purpose. I'm hot and I'm damaged. And oh, but you can fix me. But you can't. But I love you, I guess.
13-year-old Becca would have loved this.
Probably 17-year-old Becca also would have like loved that character. But now I'm
Present day Becca also likes this.
present day Becca wants somebody responsible who knows how to pay taxes.
Fair.
So, win.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciated the character depth that came in this movie. There was not a situation where the characters just automatically knew how to be good at something. I mean, you know, we're entering into this. Movie starts when they are already established K-pop artists, so there's not like
And K-pop stars, like the biggest
right,
stars.
Exactly. And so there's not this wind up where you have to like watch them struggle to make it big. They're already big and you just kind of come in with that assumption. But there's still growth in the sense that they don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to handle their inner demons.
They do
And
feel like
there's-
people. Like,
They feel like real people. And they grow throughout the movie to learn to accept people for who they truly are, demons and all. And so I appreciate that character growth. The characters did not feel flat to me.
I agree. I would say for Rumi, like arguably the main female
Yeah,
character, is that I feel like her struggles could relate to somebody from like a single parent home or like a broken family. And then Mira,
Yes.
like the tough girl,
Yep.
like clearly a metaphor or, you know, just a simile for the child who feels like the black sheep of the family and wants to live their life the way they want to live regardless, and too bad, but still has to deal with the after effects of that.
Yeah.
And then Zoe, that I feel like I relate to the most as the really overeager people pleaser who just wants to have value
Yeah.
in the friend group without getting on everybody's nerves.
Sure.
Like that being the fear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for something so bizarre and out there as musicians / superheroes, I agree that they didn't feel one-dimensional.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to some music, since that's probably one of the biggest highlights about this, since it is K-pop Demon Slayers. So, what do you think of the music?
Every song was a bop.
Yeah.
As soon as the first song started, I'm like, yep, this is good. This
Yeah.
is something that I need to put a pin in for a playlist or to choreograph, you know, when I'm teaching dance classes, that like, this is good. And I saw your like feet wiggling under your blanket in time with the music,
Yes.
which I know is a sign that you were vibing,
Oh,
even
for
if
sure.
you're tired laying on the
Absolutely.
couch.
Yes.
And, you know, I was also wiggling my feet
Yeah.
in my heart.
Yes, I understand.
So,
That's just how I experience music sometimes.
wow, what
Yeah,
a surprise.
it's
I
good.
haven't been this surprised by music since the first time I went to an opera.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the last time I've been this surprised by a truly different type of music.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in myself because I hadn't shared K-pop music with you earlier. I'm not going to claim to be an expert in K-pop or J-pop because I'm not. I know like 3 or 4 songs that I like, but I'm open to it, and I would love to learn more about it. I think really the reason that I haven't shared them with you is because they're on my dance music playlists, which you
Not my thing.
are not a big fan of those playlists.
Except for
so
Knife Party.
I tend to not play that music for you. I think you'd be into more dance music if you just have an open mind and we'd search that.
Oh, if I just wasn't a closed-minded fool.
Exactly, yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I said what I said. Anyway, music, bops, so good. Definitely one of the main reasons you should be watching this movie for sure. I want to talk a little bit about the visuals and the special effects. The whole movie is animated, so obviously there's that caveat is that it looks good because it's entirely animated. The style was locked in. I appreciated that. The characters looked like you would see in like a Japanese anime or something in that region of filmmaking.
Yeah, they were three-dimensional anime
But they were
characters.
three-dimensional, exactly. And it was cool to see that they still brought in the tropes of like the characters would fundamentally change their body shape based on like what they were doing. If they were doing something super cute, they would turn into like a chibi version of
Yeah,
themselves.
based on emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or they would get like really super teeny tiny mouths when they were like dealing with something they were like suspicious of or frustrated with or something like that, you know? Those typical anime over-the-top goofy expressions that you would get out of them. I will say it did bother me a little bit that this wasn't a full 60 frames per second movie.
I noticed that too. Now that you've started pointing out frame rate
Yeah.
issues, there were a couple of times that I
it's-
was like, oh, they cheaped out on this shot.
But the thing is I think it's not, I don't think it's a cheapness thing. I think it's a stylistic thing. And I think something with how they animated, it didn't line up very well. Like Miles Morales, Spider-Man, for some reason, well, not for some reason. Oh, no, it is truly for some reason because I don't know, I can't put my finger on what the issue is, but the Miles Morales 24 frames per second works well. Like the movie never feels jarring or jittery. There were a couple of instances in this one where the frame rate really stood out to me. I know it was consistent throughout the whole movie.
No,
And
there were a couple of
scenes where
moments
it worked
too.
really well.
Yeah.
Honestly, most of the movie it worked really well, but there were a couple
There were definitely some in the opening.
scenes where it was just like, whoa, ugh, like, wait, what's happening? My eyes are like going crossways a little bit, you know? So I think that's my only real downside to it. The visuals were beautiful. Like I said in the spoiler-free review, I think that the aesthetic was really beautiful and poppy and catching because it was that traditional cyberpunk kind of look where everything's dark and muted and flat and it's highlighted by like neon colors and things pop and there's lots of light. So I like
Also
that
great
stuff.
choreography. Not
Yes.
just the dance, but great fight choreography.
Yeah.
Every fight felt like that epic cutscene of a video game that you earned.
Yeah.
Because you just got to the final boss, or you beat it, or just something else amazing happened.
Yes.
And if you're like me, sometimes you saved right before so you could experience that cutscene again. Because this is before YouTube, when all of you like children that don't understand that these awesome scenes were not at your fingertips, you had to earn them.
Okay, Grandma, let's get you back to the nursing home.
So, 10 out of 10. I feel like I haven't enjoyed fight choreography in an animated movie this much since Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
To me, that's like the golden standard of fight choreography
For sure.
in animation, and now this is a close second.
Yes. Agreed. Very good. So, is it worth watching?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was such a surprise.
Yes.
Would have never watched it on my own.
Nope.
Never. I am very grateful that it's blowing up enough that we've been hearing word of mouth. Now I'm seeing it on YouTube. I just heard about someone talking about it today in the Mommy and Me class I was at with my son. The teacher said all the children are requesting Golden, which is
Okay.
one of the big tracks
That
of
was a
this
good one.
movie.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was such a surprise. It certainly has what I would say are weeby vibes
Oh, for sure.
people that grew up with Sailor Moon, Totally Spies,
Mhm.
Final Fantasy, specifically Final Fantasy X2, where for some reason Yuna is a pop singer and I don't remember her being a pop singer in Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
All that aside, gosh, was this this was delightful.
It was. It was very good.
It really was a surprise.
I'm right there with
a
ya.
delightful surprise.
Right there with you. If you don't mind the weeby vibes, it's definitely a movie you should watch for sure. God, thank you to everyone who pestered us and hounded us to watch this movie and provide a review for it. We really thank you guys. So glad we got to watch it. This is a nice piece of art to experience for sure.
This was so refreshing because while we've had some incredible animated gems in the past couple of years, there's been far more mid movies and disappointments. And productions like this remind me that storytelling is not dead. And there are animators and storytellers out there that are taking people seriously and they're treating their audiences with respect. And that to me is the greatest gift I can get from a movie like this. Is not only is it enjoyable, but it's giving me hope for the future. Is that there will be things I will want to show my children that have been produced past 2014.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just thought about this right now. Netflix, every once in a while, they hit a banger.
They
like
do.
Klaus.
Klaus.
Oh my goodness, such a great movie.
We're definitely going to do a retrospect on Klaus.
For sure.
It's
And then now
so good.
this, like, I know Netflix has kind of taken a little bit of a dive since all the other programming channels have come out with their own streaming services.
And they
been
have
taking
created
away.
some stinkers for
And they've
original
created
movies.
some stinkers too. That's true. That's true. But every once in a while, they hit a banger, and it's good. So
Yeah.
bravo, Netflix, for sure.
This is definitely worthy of a theatrical release.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. And we get to listen to it with surround sound, so that was even better. Oh, so good. Anyway, we could gush all day about this movie. Let's put some numbers to it. Becca, hit me with your out of 10 rating.
Gonna do a decimal.
Oh, a rare. From
A
Becca.
rare 8.5 out of 10.
Ooh, okay. We're close.
I want to say 9. I'm only taking a half point off because I think the strong anime influence is going to lose some people
Agreed.
that either didn't grow up with anime or just have no interest in it. That some of the stylistic choices might be off-putting where they might think it is for children and turn it off.
Sure, absolutely.
But I'd say that if we're only speaking to people like us who go to anime conventions as adults, it would be a 9.
Mhm. Yep.
But 8.5 for this review.
Okay. Yeah, we landed close. I was going to do 8.75 for basically the exact same reason.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so yeah, we came out close on that one. So this is definitely a good watch for sure. All right, everyone. Well, that was our review of K-pop Demon Hunters. Thanks everyone for the recommendations to watch it. Tell us what you thought about the movie. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again next time.
Bye.